so.
And there we are, everybody. My camera. Oh dear, my camera. Well, there we almost are, everybody. Hello! I think you can hear me, according to the audio levels, so at least we have that going on for us. And then we pull up this. Alright. Looks good. Looks like I'm here now. Sweet. Alright. How we doing, folks? Sorry for being a little bit late. Streamlabs sometimes wants you to update your NVIDIA video capture GPU thingamabobber, and it decided to tell me that at 6:30. So, we're here now, though. Everything is well, and after a week off, we are ready to get back into the second chunk of this campaign, Rising Ash. So, in the interest of time, I normally do a lengthier summary here at the beginning, but I will keep things efficient. Basically, this is a campaign in which 3 people from the Empire, the theocratic Empire of Machavia, were sent into the southern woods of the Empire in the more remote area where the theocracy has less control to sort out the case of a high-ranking official that had gone rogue and seemingly started a cult that involved devil stuff. They have pieced together in the past 3 sessions all of the pieces of this complicated situation and all of the major players as much as they could. And now we have entered the second leg of the campaign, which might be 3 sessions, might be 4, we'll see, where they are now making decisive action. They found out that High Exarch Ambrose Zonaris has in fact started a cult, and that he is following the signs and omens of a fallen paladin known as the Fallen. I could have worded that better. They're known as the Fallen. And the party has decided... Oh, and there's a devil named Baal who's here too. He also wants to basically see Ambrose go down this dark path so that he can fulfill what Baal thinks is his destiny as becoming a corrupt enough mortal soul to be taken into the 3rd layer of hell with him and serve as a right-hand man. So the party pieced together as much of that as they could, the complexities of everybody involved, and now their plan is basically to stop Ambrose as he prepares to launch an attack on Theo Aldo, a village that they have become allied with. And they also have come in contact with Lady Melina, a mysterious but undeniably powerful cleric of Pelor who is running a sanctuary out in the Forest of Ash right now. She can be of help defeating Baal, locating the Fallen, basically dealing with the devil side of things that is a little too powerful for all of the other mortals that are allied to the party. So, that is basically where we are now. They are preparing to head back to Theobaldo to help prevent an invasion from Ambrose and the rest of his cult. Hopefully they will be able to damage control as much as they can there, stop Ambrose in whatever way is necessary, whether that be detaining him, outright killing him. We'll just have to see what decisions the party makes, there we go, when the time comes. And in the meantime, they have allies in Theobaldo to help with that. They have this new ally, Lady Melina, to help with the devil. So, as we zoom back in, you are all still in the sanctuary. All three of you, after these very confusing, bloody, demoralizing few days. This is this small moment of peace you have, and it is in the middle of the night. Now, I will say, just for the point of interest, throughout the night, you guys don't need to take watches, at least under Lady Melina's instruction. You should be fine. You're able to get more rest here than you would have the past few nights. But I will just say, anybody throughout any portion of the night, if you were up, walking around, checking things out, staying on watch anyway, tending to your thoughts, whatever you might be doing, Lady Melina sits very calmly at the front. Her posture hardly seems to move, as if she's not breathing at all. She doesn't seem to blink. She doesn't seem to sleep. She doesn't seem to eat or drink at any point throughout the night. She just seems to be remaining in eternal watch at the front as everybody else rests. Now, as for the three of you, you got this information from your ally, Cyril, that you need to head to Theobaldo, and you have decided to do so as soon as you can. We can cut straight to the next morning if you would like. If anybody wants to do something during the night, go talk to Lady Melina, talk to each other, without the company of others. Whatever you would like to do, we can do that now. Otherwise, we can just cut to the morning, because the main thing we need to take care of now, as the three of you have not informed Lady Melina yet of the information that you have received about Ambrose from Cyril and your plan. And I leave that up to the three of you, whether or not you want to do that, and in what way. So, I'll now turn it over to the three of you. And of course, reminder to everybody, oh, I see, okay, Gemma, you already typed it out, but I will say it aloud. Warlock shit, y'all got 11 temporary HP, because you long rested. Woo-woo.
You're welcome.
So, whether it is night or morning, what do the three of you want to do about this before you head out to Theobaldo?
Sorry. I don't
Eris is
have
gonna
any...
sleep.
Yeah, Eris is probably gonna sleep. I don't think she has anything in the evening that she really needs to tend to. I think she's very much like at least in this moment, like a let's get this shit done kind of thing. Mm-hmm. She's more focused on the task at hand rather than wondering about other loose ends maybe. So she'd probably like sleep, and then I think, would be happy to wake up and discuss like the technicalities of our next move. Unless someone else had anything else that they'd want to talk to her, but she would sleep and then like wait till morning.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, Tivik'ka would be happy to follow that, I guess. Just spend some time just doing some meditating before bed, but yeah, they're happy to wait to discuss things till morning.
Calloway's pretty quiet, but I mean, if you are paying any attention to him, he kind of is more than usually muttering to himself and kind of off on his own, not socializing.
Yes, because you did, I should remind all of us and the audience, you did have a somewhat meaningful conversation with Melina right before the end of last session about your place in the war, her place in the war, big worldview stuff in terms of religion and politics and borders and all that. Okay.
Can I ask, do any of us, and I don't know if I'm just dumb and forgot, do any of us know exactly what happened to the shepherd after the war?
Yeah, so we haven't really talked about it, so definitely not dummy. But after the war, the shepherd never returned home. She was basically, much like Psyche, the Eternal Winter, she was completely vanquished to the point where there was nothing to bring back. Yeah, no body was recovered. She is 100% dead. And any followers that she had left mostly disbanded. But there are some splintered fractions that remain out there, which is part of the reason that Ambrose was sent here. But yeah, for the most part, like, completely gone without a doubt, and pretty much not a peep from her or her followers for the most part for the past decade.
And the general vibe isn't like people don't like to talk about her, right? It's just that generally people don't like her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It's like probably hush hush in higher society circles, just because it's such a, you spend all day talking about religion and glory and justice, and it's kind of this like big elephant in the room.
Yeah, but it's not like Voldemort-y at all.
No, you can bring it up, like especially at this level out here on the frontier with common people. Like, you can talk about it for sure.
Okay.
I will say it's and as I said before when the party first met her, it is hard to know how exactly Lady Melina emotionally responded to when you brought the shepherd up, because her emotions are so muted that they're almost non-existent. So all you really have to go off of is her words and the story she told. But
right.
Like in general, yeah, like it's not like it's not Voldemort, as you said. You can talk about it. Alrighty. Well, unless there is anything else, we can go ahead and hop to the morning. All three of you awake. Lady Melina will eventually, once the first resident of the sanctuary starts to get up for the morning, you'll all see her just slowly turn her head to the side, see that person getting up, and then calmly raise up from her sitting position and head off somewhere else in the sanctuary to handle a few things. She will be out in a few minutes. If there's anything you would like to say to each other before then, you can now, about what exactly you're going to tell her about everything.
So just for clarification, team, game plan was take out Ambrose, then the Fallen, then Bale, right?
Yep.
That's what I got written.
Okay.
Deal with
Did you have
Ambrose, vanquish the Fallen, see what Bale does, and deal with that.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say, by take out Ambrose, do we end up deciding if we want him dead or not? Because I was thinking that the go was to hopefully get him captured.
Yeah,
Right.
so I remember when we were talking about this at the end of the session, somebody asked, like, Lady Melina, if we captured him, is there a chance? And she said, very small, but yeah. So that is a possibility. And if that is the path you all want to go, then we'll certainly try to make it happen.
Yeah, I don't think we really had a discussion about that part yet, the details with that.
Yeah, it's just kind of brought up.
So I guess after we all kind of like wake up and do a little bit of our morning routines and kind of settle in to begin, Eris would say, all right, how do we want to go about this 3-step plan? Where should we approach at least Ambrose first?
Well, I guess we know what his next move is. We know that he's going to be going to Theodore. And if we are able to then, in some way, isolate and capture him, detain him, in a way that we know that he won't be able to maintain his influences or, worse, escape, I would be hesitant in wanting to kill him, knowing all we do with what Bale wants of him. I feel like his death would only complicate things.
Perhaps
That
we
would
could,
make it messy.
perhaps we could lead him away from his troops with talk of negotiation. Ambush him on the way up. I don't know if he's that stupid, but
Well, he has
Maybe
no
it's
reason
not-
to suspect that other people will be there for him. He already had put out a messenger for negotiations. So, proposing more and further negotiations with perhaps only a smaller council, surely something that he would want to take up.
Right, and maybe it's not playing in the in his whether or not he's smart or not, but we can clearly tell he's a bit confident at the very least, and playing into that confidence and hopefully use that to our benefit. If he feels like he would be successful or win and doesn't need any sort of extra protection than the bare minimum that he has, then we'd be in a better spot.
and if all goes to shit, like I said the other day, Theobaldo would make a great place for some archers and artillery. Should prepare for it.
All right, well, seems like we can start with him at Theobaldo, and then from there, we should definitely be able to approach the Fallen with him in our midst. And after that, hopefully Lady Melina will be very helpful in somehow getting and attaining Bale. I think this is a good start.
Agreed.
Alright, around that time is when she will emerge again. And she will be calmly standing, hands folded, not far from the three of you. If any of you would like to call her over at that moment. But she won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eris would bring her over and basically just inform her of their plan, that they're going to kind of be kind of filling in and like forming the plan after we get through step 1. Hopefully, you know, that once we get through step 1, step 2 will be a lot more clear, and then step 3 will be kind of become more clear as well. Just informing her of that.
All right, so you bring her over. You tell her the 3-step plan. I will share her art again as she listens, poker face the whole time. Well, there is still one slight problem with your plan. One that I should be able to fix. I believe you simply underestimate Bale's forces. But if you wish to go anywhere that isn't directly to his path, I believe I will be able to offer as a distraction while you get there. My feud with him has been cold for several years. It's not worth it. Fighting an endless horde when I could be helping the people of this world. But if you wish to go to Theodulf and talk to Ambrose, then we can separate for now. I will use this time to locate the fallen. When we reunite, if I am still with this world, then we may face the fallen together. You will need my aid for that encounter. If not, hopefully I can at least find the pieces that will lead to the fallen's trail. And you may make your decision from there.
All right. Thank you.
Your offer is very generous, and we're gonna need all the help we can get.
Believe me. Once you have lost Baal's mercy, it never comes back. He shows me none. The only reason I have been able to maintain safety here from my residence is fear. And he does not fear you. If I start to cause trouble in this forest again, it should buy you at least a few days away from his watchful eye. And if we successfully defeat the fallen, which I have never been able to do on my own, then his watchful eye may be forever gone from this region. I do not take up arms against these devils lightly. I would like to believe such violence is behind me, but I do know that prayer is for the home front and action is for war. Pelor has gifted me, and I shall use it. Should you leave for Theodulf now?
Yes, we will be heading out now.
Alright, and she'll just slowly stand up and start to walk and lead the three of you to the door. Okay. So, once you get out of the sanctuary, back into the Forest of Ash, you can take one last look at everything out there. And pull all of us here now. You get back to the edge of her domain, and as you pretty much reach that proverbial line in the sand, she stops. Though I would not like to think it, this may be the last conversation we have. Is there anything else I should know?
I believe we've shared with you all that we have. My only wish is that the flame guides us all. And that it is indeed not our last meeting.
Very well. Okay. And then, unless anybody has any last things, she will simply nod. And she will go ahead and walk back northward, leaving the rest of you to head back to Theowaldo. Now, the path that Eileen led you down, you can mostly remember, but without her sort of magical aid, it does take longer than it seemed to have when she was making her way through with all of you. Got them ranger perks like that. But you still are able to make it to Theowaldo in a fairly timely manner. You can make it by mid-afternoon, early evening. Anything all of you are saying to each other on the trail?
No, I don't think Eris has anything.
All right. Go ahead and get you over into Theowaldo then. So, like I said, you arrive early evening or so. And the area seems mostly unchanged as far as mood and temperament. Seems just as hopeful as you left it. The only hint that something is wrong is you can see the Baron, Cyril, moving rather urgently up and down some of the paths, talking to people and sorting things out. And eventually he sees you, and he will approach. I see you came as quickly as you could. Thank you.
Of course. Are we relatively alone with him right now?
We can say so. Yeah, he'll go ahead and find the three of you away from one of the main pathways, so that the four of you can have a quick talk about everything.
Okay. I mean, she will start to kind of fill him in, focusing mostly on the most relevant part, which is part one.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of mention that the plan is, and she'll say, we don't want there to be a actual attack on Theowaldo where people have to get involved. Ideally, if there's a way we could organize a meeting with Ambrose, and I'm sure he'll bring at least some trusted people with him, then we can just isolate that incident and basically capture him. And then we would be able to move on to the Fallen and so on. We just want to make sure that he's stopped. That's our main goal.
Well, if it works, the cost of innocence is low. But that's very risky. Before knowing when you would arrive, that is, I was fully aware to wait to meet him here. I fear what meeting him alone would do, especially after refusing his first offer, and now that he has claimed to see some sort of visions. The vein of corruption, he's calling it. I have faith in whatever course of action you decide upon. But believe me, the people here have two lines of defense. One is simple secrecy, and the second is military. This place may look docile, but it's able to stay that way because corruption has never found its way in. No matter what Ambrose says. Eileen has a group of mages and apprentices she can lead. I'm fully prepared to take command of the archery lines that form on the bridges. But if you truly think that it doesn't have to come to that, perhaps I can once again put you in contact with Melchior, and you can try to have this conversation.
I would say we hope Plan A will work out most ideally, but prepare like we need a Plan B. I don't want to assume that it's going to perfectly work out, but I think it'd be better than just going with a full-on attack. I'd rather try and save what Theowaldo has rather than just let it all go and make this a part of Theowaldo's history. I mean, I assume that's what me and my allies agree on, is kind of what we discussed, but do you guys have any differing opinions now knowing what they can prepare?
I think it is a good idea to keep it prepared. If your people are good at secrecy, then that would be important to this. I think if Ambrose enters and recognizes that there are people on edge, people prepared, then perhaps these negotiations won't go as simply as we would like. He would be more on edge himself. And, well, it would only make the situation worse. If you were able to keep any lines of defense that you are going to build secret and hidden, perhaps from the routes that Ambrose will go through, I would recommend that being, well, most important.
Those are excellent points, and I will volunteer my services in helping you find the best way to obscure any and all defenses. That's up my alley.
Perfect. I'm more of a once we've been spotted general, so it'll be good to have your help. That being said, I think the three of you are simply too valuable. I would fear sending you toward Ambrose, but perhaps if there's a way, a conversation could happen in the middle. You stay safely on our side, he stays safely on his, and... well, what I'm getting to is I believe Melchior, judging by what I know of his career in the past, before this, I believe he should be able to set up a magical means of communication. Now, again, full support, either way. If you believe talking to Ambrose in person is the only way, I suppose I have no choice but to believe in your judgment. But...
Well, I feel like it needs to be in person, does it not? If we are to capture him, then Having a
Right, I don't
intent
think-
needing to talk with him is the only way to be able to do that.
Right. I don't think we fully intended it to be only a conversation, if you understand. And if his people can see if either him or we make a first move, then they would feel instigated to then attack. I think a private place to meet where we can then, as Tivik'ka put it, capture in whatever means we see fit would be the most ideal in letting plan A be most effective. And if for some reason then that goes wrong, you guys are prepared just in case.
Well, from what I understand, Ambrose and his cult remain very close. I think even if you did have a private rendezvous with him of sorts, you'd be in his domain. He would have the advantage, and, well, if things didn't go his way, I fear you'd be surrounded to the point of no escape.
How about this? The negotiations take place in a coward's term. If you would forgive my wording of it. Ask for it to be private, perhaps with only a few of his cultists. Have it framed as if you wish to have this discussion, hold these negotiations, but you fear what the people here might think. And so if it could happen discreetly, then perhaps it'd be a better way of, well, you can say it will be a way of joining him, but of course we'd know the truth.
And you see, Cyril considers it, and at first there's a bit of, a little bit of pride and a bit of disgust at the recommendation, but he thinks about it for a moment. Perhaps there's an angle there. Perhaps we can imply to Ambrose that I'm simply trying to play both sides, and that I would like to end up on his when all is said and done. That would at least get him in the room. At least I think.
Right. We just need to get him comfortable enough to feel confident about stepping away, even briefly, and then we can make a move.
All right. I'll tell you what. Melchior seems very in tune with their plans. I assume despite my best efforts, they are still magically communicating. In fact, it has crossed my mind that maybe Melchior wasn't even sent here as a peace offering, but more as a correspondence. A spy, keeping an eye on the place. That being said, what has happened. I believe if you do want to open up this trick, this dialogue with Ambrose, we can do it through Melchior, and a place will be arranged. And the rest of us will be ready. If you get Ambrose away and manage to capture him, the rest of his cult, under the influence of his coadjutor, might still try to finish his work. But with Ambrose out of the picture, we'll stand a much better chance.
But I suppose on that detail, must ask, if we are to capture Ambrose, would we be able to hold him safely here?
Well... Asrio, forgive my blasphemy. As a High Exarch, the only way to truly strip him of his power is to strip him of his symbol. You're going to need to beat him nearly to the point of death. And then you will need to stabilize him without aiding him in any way, just keep him hardly alive. And then, the only chance for him to truly have no power is to, well, remove his title. We'd be doing it completely against the Empire, at least for now, at least until our case is proven, but we can take his holy symbol away and purge it.
If it gives you any peace of mind, the main instruction we were given on this mission was to purify. Even when we asked those tough questions of what would you like us to do with Ambrose, they simply said purify, and to do so how we see fit. We have that in our favor here.
Well, given that, I'm relieved you're approaching this so delicately. I know many a Machavian who would use such an instruction as a blunt weapon.
That's why they sent us.
We're the best.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have a
Yeah.
cleric cultist to deal with before we can be claiming too much. Alright. That's as much of a plan as we can have. In the meantime, I will await his approach, prepare everyone as well as I can, and... Calloway, I would appreciate your help in preparing the battlefield.
It would be my honor.
I do know the highest point in Theowaldo where I was planning on bringing everyone. There is a section of land that is inaccessible except from the downhill pathways. If all of us are there, we should be able to force Ambrose's army into an upward climb against the river. Should be very defensible, as long as we can hold our lines. The only trouble with that plan is, well, if our lines are broken, there's hardly anywhere to run. But it's the best shot we have at this not being a clusterfuck.
Well, honestly, I would hope that retreat is not the option that we go down anyways.
Quite frankly,
I think it's
I don't know if it is one.
the worst fate for a soldier to be dealt is an arrow in the back.
I agree. And given the state of the past two villages, I truly don't think it's an option. Alright. Well then, whoever wishes to open up that dialogue with Melchior, I suppose now is the time.
Tivik'ka, I feel you would be able to navigate that conversation a bit better than I could, but I'm happy to be by your side and support you through it.
Part of me also feels like this is a conversation that might be best alone.
if you wish.
You have ways of reaching out if things go south, though, right?
Well, perhaps only a failsafe. I won't be able to message anyone besides, I suppose, through the sending stone, but I imagine if that's needed, things have already escalated so far. I mean, he is imprisoned, but, well, I'm a little unsure of how detained all his connections are, how much his power has been properly handled.
I'll be right out the door. If you need me, just be vocal about it. I'll be there.
Right. And well, if you, Callaway, could be a little bit further. And then you're just gonna be like undoing a little earring at the same time as they're saying that. And we'll give you their little talisman.
We.
Oh. Hopefully this goes well.
I'm confident.
They'll make their way down.
All right. So, Callaway will be most helpful preparing the rediments. Tivik'ka will head to Melchior for that conversation. Eris, don't feel left out. I have something for you.
Ah!
And
I was gonna try and be nearby Tivik'ka.
Okay. Well, no. No, it's fine. But but I do have a thing, and we actually shall go ahead and begin with that. So, Callaway, you head off with Cyril to help him get some things ready with that. Tivik'ka and Eris, you start heading off as well. And the two of you, before you can get to the place where Melchior is held, you are intercepted by Eileen. Eileen, go ahead and share her image once again. And she'll look to the two of you and say, if either of you have a moment, I believe somebody else has stumbled their way into Theobaldo. Someone that claims to know the three of you.
I'll be with you shortly, Tivik'ka, but you can go on.
I'll just give a nod.
I'm sure I can help out then.
Very well. They say they're a Risen that you know, traveled with briefly. Didn't quite catch the name. She'll start heading off. So, Eris headed that way. Tivik'ka headed that away. Callaway headed that way. And now, Eris, we will go ahead and cut to you and Eileen meeting with a familiar face a little bit away from all the commotion and the rest of everything. You head back towards the section where all of you originally came into the village of Theobaldo the first time. And you see somebody that you had the wonderful experience of hearing speak all day just a few days ago. Though it feels like a lifetime ago. And he looks and just... Well, didn't expect we'd be seeing each other again so soon, right?
Right, and not here either.
Well, I have a bit of a story. And I will share third risen Leo Petra. So, you got into Barda, and sounds like things went south as soon as you got there.
Not even as we got there. Before.
Right, well... I'm here for a few things. First thing, I just want to say thank you. You sent that new pure Iuna back north. That was the right thing to do. I've known some other soldiers who would have wanted to keep her around, wring some information out of her, maybe even use her for some sort of negotiation. You did well by her. I knew her. I was there during her initiation. Bad way to start.
Terrible way to start. But yes, I agree, and I don't want to be like that. Me and my allies, I think, all kind of agree on that, but I saw enough people being used as pawns, not as people. And I'm glad she's doing all right, right?
As all right as you can be.
Right.
The thing is, well, so word spread quick. She ran into a patrol not too far from mine. Then we met up. Everybody knew that she had to go back north, talk to the higher-ups as soon as she could. So that's what we did. They grilled her for a while. She didn't have anything to hide necessarily, but she knew what she was saying would be pretty conflicting, especially coming from a new pure. Well, right now she's in the mess of it. Last I checked, she's still being held for further questioning. The Empire is deciding how they want to respond to this situation. I know
What
that,
are they debating specifically?
well, look, I know I'm not supposed to know your mission, but I assume the three of you were sent here for that cleric. I think the fact that she might have something to say about it that would draw a bunch of attention is really what they don't want. Maybe even more than actually stopping him. Can't lose faith in the theocracy, right? But I couldn't just sit there. So he kind of looks around a little shiftily. Alright, I'm really going out on a limb here. And whether you say yes or no, I think my career's about over, but I'm rogue. They told me to stay put, and I couldn't. So I sent the rest of my new pures and first risens home. I have only my best soldiers with me, about 40. I followed your tracks as best I could. I was hoping to meet up with you, and I know I'm not allowed to know anything on paper, but if you'll have my help, I will give it. After this war, it's been a long time since I've actually felt like I'm doing something good. And I don't even care if I'm doing it for the Empire or not anymore. I hope that doesn't make me a heathen.
At the end of the day, it is not I who will ever be the judge that truly matters. We could use your help, honestly. But what happened to her? Anything yet?
Nothing terrible. I've been sending prayers at night, hoping that nothing happens. I think they're just trying to make her hush, scare her, make her realize that this story, even if it's true or not, can't get out. Of course, she doesn't see it that way. I don't expect any sort of punishment, but they're gonna keep this story secret as long as they can. Well, at least until the three of you solve it.
All right. And then Eris will sit him down somewhere and let him know what's going on. I want to know what his facial expressions are as well, but
Yeah.
She'll finish it off with, I know the situation seems unrealistic in our success, but one thing we have to know and remember is that we have so much strength in our hearts and on our side, and we are what Azrio needs. We must keep fighting for what we know is right, even if it seems so bleak and unlikely. That's what we have to do. That's why we're here, not for the Empire. At least in my heart, I'm not. Is there any way your services can help us? Because we need it.
So, as you're telling him everything, he's definitely... You see his expressions grow heavy with the weight of everything you're telling him. You see him shake his head as you explain the things you saw of Ambrose and the stories you've heard. Especially because a memory flashes in your mind of him telling a story about what Ambrose was like during the war, and how disappointing, yet, in a way, inevitable this must seem to Leo. But mostly his eyes are filling with fire. Not rage, not a blinding rage, but a righteous one. And as you say everything, he asks for his services, he looks at you. Even if this kills me, I can't walk away. Not from this. My soldiers and me, we're all frontliners. I will gladly die before any of the villagers here. And so would they.
She will stand and offer her hand to him, like ready to do like, like the arm grasp, not like a handshake, and then kind of lift him up from his seated position as well. Great. Your heart and passion is in the right place. But I could feel that. Let me get you prepared so you can show your men where to go, where to set up. We're trying to remain not obvious right now, but be prepared. This may go south.
South is where I live. And Eileen will take a step towards Leo now. If I may ask of you the names and families of all your soldiers, I will provide writing for you. This is an act of great heroics and service. You must be remembered in the village for your bravery. And Leo nods. I think some of them would like that. Okay. Any last things to say to the two of them?
No, she will go and update. I keep wanting to call him Clovis, and I know that's not his name.
Yeah,
Cyril.
Cyril.
I'm like, I don't know why I keep wanting to say Clovis. She will kind of update him, so we can kind of keep organizing the front, and then after all of that, assuming Tivik'ka isn't done with their conversation by that point, she will go and try and still hang by them near where they will be having the discussion with Dickwad.
Yeah. Second descended Melchior knew. Yeah, same thing.
Dickwad.
Sounds about the same.
Yeah.
All right. So, with third risen Leopetra and his two platoons of pikemen now joining the fight, we will cut over to where the fight is being prepared with Calloway and with Cyril again.
Is Cameron back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, cool.
Nice! Didn't even know you were gone! Woo! Alright. Pull that up again. I shared him, right? Is he there?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I saw him.
He disappeared on my screen for a second, so. Sneaky. Cyril the sneaky. Alright. Except really not. Low decks. But, he's really not his thing, but. So you're all assembling, and. Yeah, the area you're at, there are. It's almost like falls. You have to kind of ascend up using lots of bridges and kind of getting up on cliff sides. There's even at one point where a ladder, very large runged wooden ladder leaning against the rock face, is the only way up. But you get to the highest point, and Cyril kind of shows you the whole outlay of everything. And you help him find pathways that could be blocked off, places where you could flank and get the upper hand and such things. And I would just like you to roll survival real quick to see how well you're able to get the lay of the land and help him do that.
Okay. That was a 14.
Okay. So fairly well. You don't necessarily discover anything about the land that Cyril didn't already know with a 14, but you do point out insights that he had not reached. You're able to point out things that would make perfect paths in areas in general that would be more defensible than others because of the natural formations there. And he, throughout the conversation, he nods and... We truly would not have made it without this. Thank you.
It's what we're here for. There's no need to thank.
If it is ever of importance, I should show you something as well. He's going to point up into one of the trees nearby. You see that wire there? It's hard to notice at first, but it's there. Just block out the sun with your hand. And as you look up... Yeah, you do, and you can see this little thin... It's almost like a very tightly corded rope. It goes from the tree, and you can follow it, and you see it goes downhill, sort of down the slope, and it leads to another point, kind of over 100 feet away. Well, believe it or not, for the more agile among you, which I assume you might be, that is a means of transportation.
And where does it lead?
Well, there's one that leads from this great tree down to that rock face, and from there you can climb that tree further down south. If, for any reason, you or other soldiers who are capable, if you'd find it advantageous to get all the way from the top to the bottom that fast, this is a possible path. There's small hooks that Eileen has, and some of the others natives have too, that can be given to you. It's a bit of a dangerous ride, especially if you let go, but...
Well, it looks kind of fun too, though.
Fun is definitely a pro. Speed is the other pro. Cons are danger and exposure.
How fast do you think you go up there?
Oh, I've seen it. You can get from here to here in a matter of seconds. And where he is pointing it's like several hundred feet. And so basically, to just put it in meta terms real quick, they are several hundred feet long, and you could essentially, in the duration of 2 rounds of combat, get from one end to the other.
That's pretty cool.
As I said, though, you'll be exposed in the middle. Have to be ready for that.
A moving target's harder to hit, though.
That is true. I just figured you should know, in case it factors into any sort of strategy.
Yeah, I'll put that card up my sleeve.
Good. And he'll look around. You two are kind of alone for the moment. Other soldiers, you see archers kind of getting on bridges, some of them talking to each other, adjusting sights, tightening strings. And they'll look to you as the two of you are separated. As far as I'm concerned today, all of our business with the Empire before this event is hardly worth mentioning. But I thought I knew your name when the 3 of you first came to Theowaldo, and I've done some thinking on it, and you were with the shepherd, weren't you?
He kind of flinches at the name, and will slowly, kind of rubbing his temples, say, yeah. It was a long time ago, though. A lot has changed.
A lot has changed for everybody. That war changed everything. I don't blame you. I don't know. I felt the need to clear the air, I guess. Because, you see, I helped out too. Not on the battlefield, but as a baron. If a few of my funds got reallocated here and there, most people never noticed.
I think that's what a lot of people's feelings were about the whole situation. Slip it right under their noses. It's hard to form a good opinion on a person when you don't know any of the real facts.
This empire, this place we were all born into, it. So much focus is put on who you worship, who you side with, where you stand, but once you really sit and talk to individuals, you realize nothing is that simple.
Simple is a luxury that not many of us can afford.
Truly. The worst part is, if all this were happening last decade, if I was still the person I was 10 years ago and you told me the Empire needs to be cleaned and someone has to dirty their hands to do it, well, part of me wonders if I'd be slipping Ambrose money too. But
It's a new day. And we're not the people we were 10 years ago.
you're right. And for one, I'm glad for it.
As am I.
It's
I
what,
truly... Oh,
you can
go ahead. Oh, okay. I truly hope that none of these precautions have to come to fruition, but I'm sure when the day is over, if it need be, then I will look fondly on having shared the battlefield with you.
As will I, Calloway. Whatever the history books write, all it takes is one look at this place, and I know we're doing the right thing.
These people deserve it. Not just Theobaldo, but people of Machavia deserve it too. Change. Good change.
It has to come someday. And Cyril will start to walk back off again, rejoin the archers. Is there anything else you would like to say to him, or any moments?
He will just kind of watch as he walks away, and then he will also walk back and join the archers and maybe give a couple of, like, expert archer tips to some people, like better ways to, or ways to draw arrows quicker, or like moving targets, blah, 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 just giving a couple of pointers here and there to the archers.
Alright, perfect. And meanwhile, a couple of the archers can let you ride the zip line real quick.
Hell yeah.
Just to show you how it works. And, yeah, you're able to do it. I mean, you're proficient in acrobatics. You're level 12. It's fine. But Yeah, it is certainly a new sensation. It's a little bit like flying. And you feel your grip tighten as you realize that this is the only thing that you have between you and like an 80-foot drop. But you make it, and you kind of just soar through, and as you reach the end, gravity forces you to continue to fly. Momentum, I should say, forces you to continue to fly, and you just manage to gather yourself and land on your feet. And you can do the other one as well. Yes, you land on all fours. You do a spin thing.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, you're all good to go, and you think anybody of comparable dexterity, even just decent dexterity, should probably be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sweet.
With all that said, then, suppose we will move to Melchior.
Wait.
Woo. Woo indeed. All right. So, Tivik'ka, alone, away from the rest, you re-enter the holding area near Cyril's office where you met him for the first time. And you see, sitting there, as if he hadn't moved in 48 hours, is second ascended Melchior Ninu. He looks up very calmly to you. You didn't bring the others?
No, this is a perhaps more delicate conversation than was had yesterday.
I am interested. Please go on.
We suspect, and hopefully you are able to confirm, that you have contact still with Ambrose.
I do. I have been awaiting the chance to speak to him about peace negotiations. Though, unfortunately, with recent developments, it seems that was never truly his plan. Or at least not the plan of the Fallen.
You don't think that Ambrose wishes for negotiations?
Well, negotiations, perhaps. Peaceful ones, I suppose that depends on surrender. By all means, if you do wish to open this conversation, I am more than happy to help. In fact, ever since word has started to spread that there were highly influential soldiers making their way through the forest, he has been very curious to speak to the three of you.
Well then, perhaps what I have come here to propose will be of interest to him. We wish to open negotiations for the future of this play, in a way that we can all move forward. However, the only problem that may stand in the way is that this place, the Oado, is very stubborn in its ways, clinging onto its past and only its past. And so, we wish to propose perhaps more close-quartered meetings something that can be out of the guise of the rest of the populace here, in a way that will prevent them from seeing need to become more defensive, more hostile to ideas.
I see. When you began speaking, I feared this was coming from a place of cowardice, but I see now you simply wish to maintain discretion amongst these natives.
Yes.
Well,
I believe there is a place for hostility. And perhaps, if push comes to shove, it will be used. But I think it's always best for things to join for the sake of joining rather than being squashed.
well, this will be most interesting. I cannot promise Ambrose's full cooperation here, but I can certainly put the two of you in touch. In previous instances, when the Fallen has called for a village to be purified, not only were the most impure rounded up and sacrificed in front of everyone, but the whole village was charred and burnt to the ground. It is believed from the ash that the new Machavia will manifest. That being said, if aid is to be offered in rounding up the impure souls in this vein of corruption, then perhaps the demise of this place can go much more smoothly for those that are willing to aid.
I think, in cases such like these, there is sometimes a better option than a complete decimation. There are still resources here, there are still good people here. People that would be able to further any goals. It would be a shame to let it all go for waste when it's already ready to hand over.
This is true. This is only Theoaldo North. Perhaps the High Exarch would be interested in gaining your aid as he continues his campaign through the rest of Theoaldo. Well, given his interest in the three of you, perhaps such an agreement can be arranged. That way, not that Ambrose seems to have any intention of returning to the civilized world of the Empire. But when all is said and done, when he gives himself over to the flame, the three of you can serve as testament. You can tell his true legacy. What he did was right and just. Perhaps this suits you?
Perhaps it does. But also, can I get a fat insight check on everything, just to see that there's not, like, that it is, like, a true, like, honesty and earnesty to all this?
Yeah, you're gonna roll insight, and you're also gonna need to roll deception for me too.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was kind of y'all were both feeling it out, but the official line was you saying, "Yeah, that sounds good." I'm definitely gonna need a roll for that.
I'm so glad all those rolls were bad. That's a 7 on the deception.
Oh my.
and a 9 on that insight.
Gemma, no.
I rolled a 3 and a 2, and I don't have my talisman. I am useless.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's not. Shame.
Okay, so 7 on insight, or 7 on deception. What'd you get on insight?
I think it's a 9.
9, yeah.
9. Okay. Well, I will tell you as far as the insight goes. This dude seems just as out of it and gone and just not thinking soundly as he did last time. That overall, you not being a mental health expert, as it were, in whatever those terms would be in Illica, it just makes it very hard to tell if he's playing you at all or if he really believes all this gobbledygook that is coming out of his mouth. As far as the deception, so you say that you're totally on board. That seems to be of interest to you, to aid Ambrose in his campaign. And as you say it, you see Melchior, he raises an eyebrow. I still sense a bit of doubt. This is very well. All of us had our doubts when we first saw the ways of the High Exarch. It was only through true exposure that we truly began to understand. It was only through the willingness to dirty my own hands for the sake of the light that I began to feel the presence of the fallen. Perhaps Ambrose would like the chance to persuade you. Perhaps you're reaching out, confused, but determined to find the truth in the Forest of Ash. You must tell me, is it only you that feels this way, or is it all three of you?
Well, this plan for negotiation and moving forward with Ambrose is something that all three of us share.
Very well then. If you would allow me, without threat, to begin to cast a spell, I may reach Ambrose now. You can speak to him. Ambrose does not prefer winding philosophical conversation as we have been partaking in so much anymore. If you would like to secure a chance to speak to him about this, I recommend that you are very clear when this communication begins. In fact, perhaps he would be most willing to meet with you if you told him that you are confused and seeking to understand his ways. To be honest with you, I believe that is what Ambrose loves most. Always looking for a chance to be understood and to spread the inflaming visions of the fallen to another. Would you allow me to cast this spell?
I have a quick question.
That's not Gemma. Hello.
Yes, I just have a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Around this time, what are Eris and Calloway actually like doing time-wise? Is this about the time when Eris does start to get, like, she wouldn't walk in, obviously, because she said she wasn't going to do that, but would this be around the time that Eris is nearing where Tivik'ka is at, or not?
I don't quite think so.
Okay,
This has only been around 8 to 10 minutes. And yeah, so I'm thinking.
Just wanted to get my feelers out there,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm sure it'll be at least another 5 minutes before, logically, it would make sense for either of you to get here. Probably Eris first.
Okay. Well, may the odds be ever in your favor, Gemma. I'm out.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just sweating. Well, I will certainly allow you.
Very
I
well.
am interested in making contact after all. But also, am I able to do like an Arcana check or something just to like, I guess, check the vibes of what he's casting, just to
Right.
make sure
Like
that
if
it's
he's-
like some kind of like
Yeah, like if he's
maybe
actually
do
starting to
something
cast
else.
Fireball.
Well, you know, but like any, like if it's like not actually something that would be like, you know, communication, if it's like some kind of like charm or whatever the shit is happening.
Yeah, sure. I would say with your passive proficiency in Arcana, you could probably recognize the school
Yeah, okay.
as he begins to cast it. And it does seem like he is casting a divination spell. So he is using his magical powers to seek out information.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's
He may
not.
proceed.
Yeah. But that is definitely a great question. Because this would be my chance to be the worst person. And for him to
Yeah,
just
if it was like a fuck you command person or
Yeah.
like suggestion thing.
dominate
like,
person, finger of death, greater invisibility.
Literally anything.
Yeah. Firebolt. But no, he does seem to be casting a divination spell, and you keep a careful watch on him as he begins. And yeah, you don't see any reason for alarm. And he begins to cast it.
From this moment, I'm going to basically, you know, if this was combat, every action I take is just preparing an action to activate the talisman and bam to where Calloway is, to just get out of here.
Okay.
But
So
I ain't gonna do that until I know shit's bad.
right, we can just say that you're like, like sheriff with his hand on his holster. Like you're
basically.
you're just ready.
It's just a mental thing, so it's just like, you know, there is no
Right.
physical holster and stuff, but yeah,
So
just
you're
ready.
thinking bang.
Yeah.
You're ready to bang. That sounded, never mind. But he goes ahead and he casts the spell. Melchior actually gets down to his knees and closes his eyes. Ambrose. The task that you have sent me for is successful. Your message has begun to break through. I have found the three, and now I speak to one of them. I believe they are willing to aid us in the ways that you wish. But I believe they need one last push. If you are willing to communicate, and if you are willing to organize meeting, I ask and I pray that you respond. And he remains with his eyes closed and his hands folded for a little bit. And eventually, there's no vision There's no change in the environment of any kind. But you hear Ambrose's voice begin to emerge. It's about time. Tivik'ka Orn, Eris Labus, and Cletus Calloway. I sensed your presence in Theoaldo, and I believe you're here for a great purpose. I believe you are here to aid me in my most meaningful crusade. I am told you are seeking guidance, that you wish to understand the ways of a fallen flame. Tivik'ka, what say you?
That is one of the reasons why I wish to contact you. But my purpose here is for more than just the three of us. But for a wish to open negotiations and a possible meeting for Theoaldo. Something that would need to be done discreetly. In a way that would not spark any rebellion, any pushback from the people here. Better way for purification. I think we could all agree.
You were sent by the Empire, and I have no doubt you were sent to purify me. I believe we may be operating with very, very different definitions of purification. So allow me to speak clearly on the behalf of the fallen and my followers. All of Theoaldo, all of its corruption must be rooted out. Any attachment you have to anyone there must be forfeit. But I promise you, once the fallen graces you with her vision, you will understand why. You will know what must be done. You will do as I do. But you must be willing to see the fallen. I must know that you come to me not as a servant of the people of Machavia, but a servant of the true will of Azrael. And that you understand that this imperfect empire must be purged and cleaned from its very base before it ever may be holy and righteous again. Is that the understanding that you speak to me with Tivik'ka, Owen?
I believe that we do have the same ideas around the purification of this place. I simply wish to perhaps suggest that although this place is the way it is, it still holds resources, it still holds people that are of use to the cause. And to so easily give that away, well, I would have thought it'd be wiser to take a different approach.
Okay. I'm gonna say roll deception again, but I want you to roll with advantage because you are playing right into Ambrose's flaw.
That's a 13.
Okay. Okay. So you just hear some silence for a little bit, and eventually I see. I see what I must do. The people of Theoaldo will be able to guide you to the place I mentioned. There are 3 great treetops that people met atop hundreds of years ago in this great place. This once great and pure place. I wish to meet you there, and I wish to show you what must be done. And whether or not I persuade you, my forces will be ready to make their advance. We are raiding at midnight. Meet me 1 hour before at the elder trees, and you will begin to see. And then you sense a shift in the room. You see Melchior, his hands unclasp, and he draws in a sharp breath, and he the High Exarch has ended communication. And that is where we will take our 5-minute little break. Woo!
Hell yeah.
Hells to the yells, squad. We got a meeting with Ambrose.
Dice were sabotage.
You're doing me so dirty.
Hey man, it seems
I
like
have
they
a
worked.
6 and a 5 to these rolls, and
I know, I was like, you shouldn't have a problem. It's all like persuasion, deception, charisma. Nah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna cry now.
what matters is we have a meeting, so...
We do. On
We
top
do.
of trees. So you know what we do, guys? Push him off.
Hell yeah.
Yeah! Alright, squad. See you all here in a couple minutes. Pew 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
pew, 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 pew. Hello, we're back. Okay, that was a lot. Yeah, after a quick little break, the three of you can all reconvene, and all with your pieces of information. Callaway, a zip line, Eris, Leo, and Tivik'ka, you have a meeting. Did I say those in ascending or descending order of importance? You decide. But yeah, we all got our information, all had our roleplay moments with various NPCs. All of it was quite juicy. And now, we are ready to proceed. So, evening approaches. Ambrose told you, Tivik'ka, that they plan on invading at midnight, and you're supposed to meet him an hour before, which is a fancy way of saying 11 o'clock. And you only have a few hours before then. So, as the three of you regroup, we can just assume you have exchanged all of that information. What else would you like to do, and who else would you like to talk to next?
Did reconvene, Tivik'ka wordlessly would have wanted to grab that talisman back off Callaway, and rather than pinning it back to their earring as they normally have it, they're just gonna be holding it in their hands as they're talking.
All right.
I mean, I feel like we should just tell the appropriate people what the game plan is, and to be ready basically for prepare for an attack at midnight, but hope that there isn't one. Right. And then obviously Eris will introduce Leo and everyone so that the squad and people can be cohesive. I don't know what other words to use, but otherwise I don't have anything super special. Basically, up until the meeting. Oh, also, I mean, we should probably ask somebody where these trees are.
Yeah.
I thought we knew where they were, so that's why I didn't want to clarify it, because I was like, yeah, we probably know this. I've probably just forgotten, but nope.
I mean, Eileen knows everything in this goddamn forest, so I'm sure she could figure it out for us. But yeah, so I think that's kind of how Eris would spend her time, is just, preparing everybody and preparing. Oh, you know what we need to do? Us little trio who's about to go meet them. Eris is going to pull us aside, said trio, and be like, so what do we have in our skill set in order to maybe make a little bit of a plan on how we want to handle Ambrose? Hold person.
Yeah, if I have no spells for any of this.
Anyone? I mean, Eris is a strong bitch. She can hold him down, while we punch him out.
I mean, do we want just all hands on deck? Because I have my Echo and myself. That's another 2 pairs of hands to hold on to him. But I'm not nearly as strong as you are, I don't think.
That's all right. Well, I mean, you'll get sneak attack, though. So honestly, we just need to get him, because we need to strip him of his power. But in order to do that, we have to get him, basically just beat the shit out of him until he's unconscious. And typically keep him stable.
If we can get him, unconscious or prone or whatever it is that, you get auto crit.
Right.
With my sneak attack.
You know what? Yeah, let's try and get him grappled at the very least so he can't get away, because I don't think there's a way we can paralyze him. Maybe what we should do is we should consult our peers and be like, here's what we need, either something to assist with grappling or holding him in place or down, or paralyzing, because we don't have that.
Do you think I guess we could ask Eileen if there might be any herbs that are known around for like paralysis or anything like that, and I could make like a poison because I have like a poisoner's kit.
Okay. Yeah, we can ask Eileen that, and then let's start there. Well, sorry, we're not really role playing right now, Mark, but like we want to ask
It's
that.
fine. It's okay. I consider this a form of roleplay. Sometimes you gotta just.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes it gets too meta, and you just need to talk about what's on your fucking sheet. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta actually know what dice and numbers and shit is gonna happen when we go
Right.
do this. So, yeah.
Because I was
no
thinking
worries.
about it, I'm like, I don't have any special like holy downy. like
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I need to ask where the elder trees are from Eileen, and you said you're gonna ask her something else as well.
Yeah, if she knows of any like plants around that either would just A, be like I guess poisonous, or B, specifically for like paralysis or that type of thing.
Okay.
Or I
To
guess
make-
similarly, if there's like a person that we can put in that can do that.
Right. I'm gonna have her roll a nature check with advantage. Yeah, that was a natural 20, so it looks like you're getting your shit.
Ooh.
Good question, squad. So, yes, you can go ahead and go and talk to Eileen. She will be with everybody else kind of on the plateau now, talking through everything. You can see Leo has about 40 to 50 Machavian-dressed soldiers with pikes and such. They all are Risens, as he got rid of all the new Pures and the first Risens. So it's all people that are a little bit more of a sturdy rank, and they're all prepared to front line. You see Cyril with groups of archers talking about formations and heights and coming up with call signs for all of them so he can take on more of a warlord type position on the fights in kind of the middle of everything. And then toward the back, you see Eileen, and she is sitting, accompanied by several butterflies, as always, talking to a group of various magical people. Some of them are like elders, some of them are healers, some of them look druidy, some look rangery, a couple look wizardy. She's basically just sorting out what kind of magic we all have available, coming out with ways to help from the back, crowd control stuff, support spells, that kind of thing. And as you all make your way to her and ask those things, she will respond. Oh. The elder trees actually aren't too far from where the main fight will be happening. Secluded. No one else will see you, but... well, and she'll just sort of point. And you can only kind of see them through all the foliage and everything, but you do see a group of 3 very old and tall and thick trees with massive roots that seem to be growing pretty much right next to each other. Top there. Very secluded spot. You can get within the trees and climb all the way to the top. I have no idea how Ambrose plans on getting up there, but I suppose he's aware of it as a meeting spot from history. Once you're up there, there will be small platforms, but you'll mostly be on your own. Try not to trip.
What about the vantage from up on those trees? How much will we be able to see of what's happening down here?
Well, you'll be high enough to see much, but through all of the protective foliage, well, it'd be hard to see any specifics, I think. We are the hidden trail, after all. Can't exactly see us from the bird's eye view. Perhaps that's exactly what he wants. Rest assured you won't be far. If things do go poorly, you should be able to make it back to the rest of us on the front lines within minutes.
What is the actual, foot distance away this tree is? All these trees are?
From where you're
Within
standing,
500 feet, perhaps.
no, it's not.
Okay, yeah.
But
That's fair.
but maybe like 1,500. So it's like
I could
Yeah.
do it if I used all my spell slots.
yeah, you could get there instantaneously with all of your slots, or you could run there like a normal person in about 2 minutes. So those are basically the options.
I'm thinking quick escape here, Mark. Mom.
Are you eating?
Sorry, I'm eating an apple.
Okay. One more minute or quick escape. But yeah, 500 feet could probably teleport you from the top of the trees to somewhere not far from the bottom. Like you could be all the way up here and get back to the ground and like maybe 50 to 100 feet away from the tree with 500 feet.
That's good, Tivik'ka. If you fall, you're the only one that really gets to survive. So,
Yeah.
boom.
And the foliage is thick enough that if you immediately disappeared from the treetops, you could theoretically get away.
Nice.
So.
But it's also just like, I can get all of us away in 6 seconds by doing the same thing we did in that first combat. Someone has my talisman.
Yes, you could get all of you
as
off
well.
the treetops. Not back here to where the main conflict will be, but you get all of you off the treetops with that trick.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
still
won't
pretty
just
good.
let you all go to your death, whatever.
Yeah. All right, and as far as poison stuff, we'll just kind of gloss over that real quick. With a natural 20, hell yeah, is basically the answer. So, she basically will say that there's really only time to prepare one thing. So she will ask you simply, Calloway, do you want 1 dose of something that has a very good chance of paralyzing him, or do you want 3 doses of something that'll just hurt him a lot more?
1 dose of paralysis.
Okay, 1 dose of paralysis. So you can coat that on a weapon or an arrow tip. It is only good for the 1 use. So if you put it on an arrow and it misses, if you do not retrieve that arrow, it's gone. If you
So
put it
don't
on,
do an arrow.
if you put it on a blade, then it will remain until that blade comes in contact with somebody.
What is the save on it?
The save is going to be a DC 19 Constitution,
Okay.
Nice.
which is, that's wicked
Hopefully
high.
not.
That is wicked high. And he, being a cleric, has proficiency in wisdom and charisma saves. So, without saying
wait.
exact numbers, what's up?
Is it like, does it count as like a poison though?
Yeah, it is a poison, yeah.
Can clerics be poison? No, that's not clerics. That's paladins that have a thing.
It's.
against that, right?
I thought it was monks.
It's
I could
many,
be wrong.
it's multiple
I don't even know.
subclasses. That's what it is.
Lila's been poisoned multiple times
Yeah.
Well, okay, we're fine.
since being in this freaking campaign, so...
Okay, we're fine. I just wanted to double check that because that'd be funny if we had this whole move and he's like,
Right.
but I'm a cleric.
No, that's good to double check.
I was born from a C-section, Macbeth. Haha! Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
he's...
don't want that moment. No, thank you.
Yeah. Nah, me either.
Trees
So,
can stay over there. It's fine.
so there's that. You see everybody else preparing. Anything else you would all like to do before this meeting?
Okay. Like, official game plan. How are we approaching this? Is Tivik'ka, like, doing a lot of talking until we can get a whack at him? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to lead with the convo and hopefully keep him distracted. And we got a sneaky boy, so sneaky boy does the sneaky things. And then
That's
I guess
true.
we pray. I don't know.
Okay, so...
That's what he wants to happen. He wants you all to pray.
Calloway, do you have a blade that's not an arrow?
Yes.
Okay, so you can be the one to sneaky and try and stabby, and then we can just like start to wail on him and hold him down, assuming he does eventually come out of paralysis. Just kind of waiting for an opportune moment. Do we want to have like a code word?
Yeah, probably.
Wait, but would we need a code word, or would it just be first opportunity?
So I do think it should probably be first opportunity, but what if it's gray? Because sometimes we get in these situations and we're like, I know I'm like, is that an opportunity? But then no one's like moving on. I'm like, oh crap, so it's not an opportunity.
Well,
do we want to like?
I feel like as soon as Callaway is able to make the move and able to get that like blade, you know, to disperse the paralysis, that's when we make our move, right? That is the signal.
Well, I thought maybe there could be a signal. I guess that's true. That's fair. So it's just kind of Callaway's discretion to when to make the move.
Do you want to like make the plan like you try to grapple him so that I can get advantage, or I don't know if it's advantage.
I just don't know how it's gonna be. How are we gonna get Callaway to be sneaky? Like, are we gonna be like circling him?
I can.
I mean, it's dense foliage is the thing, right?
I
So
can
there's every
summon.
opportunity.
I can summon my echo and then swap places with it. So I can summon it
That's
in
smart.
the first round, keep it near him, and then the second round it's a bonus action to swap places, and then I can just be right there.
Wait, hold
That's
up.
what we should do?
Can you not just have the shadow there? Wait, how similar is your shadow to actual you? Is it very shadowy?
I think it's shadowy.
It like describes it as something else. I don't remember though. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if I poison my weapon, does my shadow's weapon also get poisoned?
I don't know.
We'll say yeah.
Okay.
Just so.
then
Are all
we're
things
not-
transferred on that? Because if I give you my talisman, then I can give you basically free guidance for when
Hell
you're
yeah.
doing stealths or things like that.
I think guidance would transfer too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's not guidance. It's the talisman.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if it's actual Callaway that's wearing it, then does the shadow get the effects as well?
I think so, because you're basically doing all the rolling. It's just that sometimes you do the rolling from the position of the echo.
And isn't like the point of, at least the way that I think it's worded in the Echo Knight thing, is that it's like another version of reality. So it's like me, or it's Callaway if instead of standing here, he was standing there, but he would still have the thing going on.
Exactly. You're still making all of the calls. So if you're getting a benefit from the talisman, so will it.
Okay, cool. So once Callaway stabs, Eris will just try and tackle then. That's going to be her next move. So it's going to be in chains. So Tivik'ka is all wah 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 with the words, and Callaway is all sneaky sneaky with the stabby stabby, and Eris is like pinned down, and then we next to kill him. Yeah?
Yeah, and then I will say, like, as soon as this shit going, like, this is assuming that's only Ambrose there. So if there's other people there, as soon as everything starts happening, Tivik'ka will be on damage control there. Or I guess if it is truly them alone, make sure no one else complicates things.
And I mean, honestly, then too, so Callaway, do you feel like, let's say there's 3 people so that includes Ambrose. So we're even. After stabbing Ambrose, would you rather focus on Ambrose and keeping him down, or attacking another person to help out Tivik'ka, kind of damage controlling? Because we could, or Eris could do either or as well. I just want to know what you would rather do, or what you feel like your skill set would be good at. Because Eris could focus on another person too, instead of holding
not
him
just
down.
ambush conversation, but wouldn't it be better to have the advantage to have, like, 2 people helping to grapple him?
I mean, that's also fine. I throwing ideas out there. We can do whatever we feel is best.
Wait,
I mean, if
so
Tivik'ka
now
feels like they can handle 2 people, I'm happy with that.
I mean, so we're grappling him now? I'm sorry, I missed that.
We're like,
guess if he's paralyzed, I guess that'd be a failsafe. The grapple would be a failsafe if
Right.
paralysis he sometimes is able to make it, or like something happens where it isn't able to be like administered.
If he's paralyzed, we effectively can just remove his thing without beating him the shit up, right?
Well, we still need to beat him the shit up, right? I thought that's still the plan.
I thought we
Yeah,
had to get him
like-
next to dead to do it.
Yeah.
Was the issue that he needed to be like physically weak, or was it that he just couldn't be conscious? Because if he was already paralyzed and couldn't,
So the symbol needs to be completely destroyed for his power to be completely gone.
so we do need to beat him the shit up.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Taking it
Let's do it
away,
anyways.
it's basically like a bonded weapon. So taking it away when he still has HP means that as soon as he is capable, he will summon it back.
Then what I should, well then I can, whichever one of the real me is up in the trees or whatever, can be focusing on other people, but then I can still have the echo right next to him, like to melee on some crit damage from him being paralyzed.
Okay, and then Eris can also focus on him as well, just in case he comes out of paralysis
Yeah,
or
and then-
something.
And then Archer Calloway can be helping with the other people who are there.
Sick.
Okay. It sounds like a pretty good plan, I'd say.
I feel like, yeah, we got some options here, you know?
Or we all die. It's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, we can also all jump off, like, and just be like, we're out of this. Okay.
Oh, that's the game plan. We just drag Ambrose with us.
Yes!
Because
Hell
like it's
yeah.
a cool tree. Surely he's gonna die for that 4 damage. Come on.
Right. What if, wait a second, guys. What if we all just jump with Ambrose and ride him down and let his body take all the damage?
Man, that's not how physics works. I'm sorry. Oh,
But what if it does? Just saying.
we would also be dead.
So we,
I didn't
do we feel like we're good? Do we feel like we can,
Yeah, we're good. I'm
okay.
being silly.
Alright.
Man.
Okay. Well, unless there's anything else then, I guess we will cut to the night.
In the dark of the night.
Alright. So, as time passes and dark starts to creep in, you hear some of the people of Theo, although they are they're not quite torches, but these little glowing lanterns that have sort of like a fairy fire in them as opposed to real flame. They start lighting them, passing them around, just so that a dim light kind of remains in the village. And you hear a bit of discretion amongst Leo and some of his soldiers saying things like, well, are you sure we want to expose ourselves? Do we... And the natives all responding, darkness will be their advantage. This whole village must be lit. And they are kind of spreading things around. And other than that, everybody else is readied at the plateau, preparing for the forward march, while the three of you can go ahead and head up to the Elder Trees. So, you do get to one of them, and there is, amongst the roots, sort of an archway that you can enter in. And once you get inside the tree, there is a pool of water, a network of roots and vines and branches that run all along the inside, and a pathway that leads up and up and up and up, farther and farther. You can just take it all the way up as you are preparing. And eventually, you do reach the top of one of the elder trees. And as you're there, you realize, as it's getting darker and darker, that between these three platforms, there is quite a bit of gap. There are branches that are wide enough to walk on, theoretically, but in the heat of combat, it would be perhaps quite treacherous if it comes to that. This is a pretty open space. And these trees are so high that you're almost, as Eileen said, above the forest, above most of the rest of the tree line. You can hardly see anything else. You just see green and yellow and red patches all throughout the forest of ash in the distance that go on and on. And below you, though you know that the peninsula that the people and soldiers of Theowaldo North are defending is not far, you feel very disconnected. And eventually, as you are starting to get your bearings, there's a figure in the distance, arms raised, that seems to be levitating. And the figure slowly lowers themselves toward one of the opposite platforms and looks up. And you all recognize immediately the man that you saw in the village of Ozar giving that deranged speech. I'll bring you
It's just
all
him?
now to... Yes, I will bring you all now to the map. So, what you're looking at here is you do have some bridges. These are the platforms. Actually walking on the branches here, any of these green parts between the platforms and the bridges, is difficult terrain, or you can attempt to move through it normally with an acrobatics check, with consequence if you fail. And then all of these tiny specks here, that is the rest of the forest. Just this, and this, and this. That is very far down. So, all you really need to know is that if you're not on these three platforms, these three main trees, these bridges, or these two smaller trees nearby, up top and down low, you are effectively plummeting down. So, Ambrose goes ahead and he lands at the other side. And he will now look up to all of you. So I finally see the three that Melchior spoke to. You don't look as I anticipated you. But this forest has a way of taking the memory of the comfortable life away from someone. I'm told you wish to reach some sort of negotiation, some sort of cooperation with the people of Theowaldo North. I'm also told that you do not wish to stand in my way, and that you wish to be enlightened. Is this true? And he is now looking to all three of you, not necessarily just Tivik'ka.
Yeah, Tivik'ka will just kind of step forward, just kind of like frame it as if like a thing of just, respectful address. I believe that everyone should wish to become one and to be enlightened by the flame. We should all seek to be within Azrio's guidance.
I wish for all of you to understand what I have seen. You were sent here to purify the purifier. You could have been blunt. You could have raided Ozar when you had the chance, but no. You watched. You waited for the truth to be revealed to you. And now you are here. My followers below, waiting for their moment. If you would allow me, I will step closer. I wish to share with you something that I've only recently in my long, ignorant life come to understand.
Please, I see no reason for such distance to be held between us.
And you see his feet lift and remain in the air, and he will just begin to levitate closer and closer, and eventually end up there, still levitating. This land, as you know, has been corrupted by the stench of a fiend for centuries. The Empire which claims to have so much control, left it to rot. They knew that this region, as long as the rest of the civilized lands never knew about it, could be left to corruption. And look where we have been led now. The shepherd, birthed in the midst of our theocracy. Our blind eye serves us no more. And I am now reminded of a great, noble, and selfless paladin that gave herself to the flame to attempt to do what should have always been the Emperor's work. Her name was Tyria, and she stood opposed to the Duke, the General, the Tyrant, the Fiend, and the foul-mouthed Bale of Greed. And though she fought bravely, she was unable to complete her work. I remember fighting in that war in the north with all the heathens and their monarchy. I remember having to turn against our own because we were so sick that we could not hope even to purify ourselves, let alone their kingdom. I remember watching Undead turn. I remember holding a young soldier in my hands as he bled as his entrails hung without him, as I tried with all of the will of Azrael to put it back. I have seen horrid things, but I understand now that they have prepared me. I understand now that they have led me to this place. I am now the one who must ruin himself. I must, when my work is done, join the ash, as our emperors do, and as the purified do with them. It all goes to the same great burning place. And now I would like to share with you that gift. And I would just like to ask, during all of that, were any of the three of you trying to do anything?
Not trying to do it during all of that, but I will say as he's like finishing this whole proclamation thing he's got going on, Tivik'ka would want to take a couple more steps forward, levitate themselves, because you're not the only one that has that trick, boy, and kind of very much arms outstretched, hoping that this could be a little bit of distraction, and, moving towards where he is.
Okay. Go ahead and move your token if you would like.
Oh, the game not paused now? Okay, sick.
Yeah.
He's gonna get, pretty up close in there.
Okay.
Just arms outstretched. Yes, I believe we do wish to see what you have been shown. What it is exactly that you have been enlightened with the work towards.
Yes, you are willing. I see the doubt in your eyes. I see your loyalty to that empire. I see your naivete, your innocence. I see your hope that there is any other way, but you must see. The fallen and Baal and the followers of the shepherd that remain here, they're all tied. I was sent here to find the followers, and I will. They'll hide in the shadows, but they're there.
Well, I can assure you that I am no follower of the shepherd.
Allow me to extend my hand. And Ambrose will now close that gap. And he will just hold out an open palm to Tivik'ka.
Eternally screaming, Calloway, please do something soon. Tivik'ka will, trying with every ounce of their body not to be hesitant in it, will just very slowly...
Oh, whoops, not me having been muted this entire fucking
I was
time.
wondering.
Sorry.
Well,
Cameron?
No, I definitely, when Mark was like, is there anyone who's doing anything, I was like, oh my, okay, anyway. But yeah, so I was trying to maybe, hopefully get his blade coated in the poison before Ambrose had gotten that close.
Yeah, I mean...
surely I would have done it in prep before we got up to the tree, right?
Yeah, you could have done it as soon as you saw him coming.
Okay.
And then, in the interest of sportsmanship, what have you been attempting to do?
Well, I mean, when he is close enough within range, when he is at the height of being distracted by what Tivik'ka was doing, right before he can touch them, Calloway would go ahead and pull the sword and just jab it right into like underneath his ribs, as far in as he can get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine it could be like a simultaneous thing because, like, you know, if it's going in for the handshake, you know, the attention's fully got to be there.
And
Right.
I can have them like maybe flanking him with Eris, or I don't know, or maybe my Echo. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm technically flanking now. Like,
Okay,
if
hold.
you're gonna be behind,
Hold
them,
up.
right?
Are we
What?
doing this attack with the Echo or with you?
He himself would have made the attack.
Okay. That is of most importance before that gets lost. Okay. So, and you would like to do it before the handshake makes contact.
Yes.
Okay. Blade already coded, distraction already there. Ambrose has approached this with caution, but he is most distracted now. So I am going to say, go ahead and make a stealth or sleight of hand check with advantage, just to get into position without him even noticing. And if that succeeds, then I can also give you advantage on the attack.
And Eris would also, she wouldn't just stand there seeing that like Calloway's trying to like go make a move. She would kind of just mirror him, almost like we're coming up to support Tivik'ka.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like come around.
Okay.
And then I see what he's saying about flanking, because he can't move his token.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't really see.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so there, if we kind of
remembered.
come up around almost like a union is about to happen, and then we're flanking.
Right, now you can Caesar him.
Yeah! Fuck.
We just need, what, like,
that was a
49
32 on my stealth check.
Oh, right.
19 plus 13.
All
And I will
right.
say, just remember, if you do fail anything, you can add a d4.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 32 beats his passive perception of 21, so you're good there. So, you get in position and go ahead and make that attack roll with advantage.
Oh, well, that was a natural 1.
Advantage?
Oh, and that wasn't very good either. That's a 16.
16?
You're
Okay.
flanking.
So,
The flanking gave me the advantage.
Oh.
I gave you advantage
have
for the stealth. You
multiple
can,
attacks, but
well, regardless, I know you also have the D4, right? From
That is ability checks, though, if you want to extend that to being able to...
No, I did not
attacks.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah, it's ability or savings, so...
You know
Well-
what? And it's up to you, Mark. I could have given the help action. Granted, I think that has to be advantage, though. He already had advantage, so never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, all that being said, you do have a second attack.
okay.
And you still have advantage on the second attack.
Okay, I'm gonna use a different die because I'm superstitious like that.
Okay. But regardless, go ahead and roll 2 more times.
Okay, that was much better. That is a 25 on the first roll, and then a dirty 20 on the second.
Okay, so the first attack kind of misses, but all you get from the first attempt is he goes, and just slightly begins to cock his head, and you are able to plunge the second attack in. So go ahead and roll that damage, and I'm going to roll that con save.
Okay, so that is 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus 5 is 20, correct? 12 plus 1, 2, 25. 20, 24, 35 points of damage.
Okay. 35
And
points
I
of damage.
Knowing, obviously, how levitation works, because, you know, Tivik'ka has it themselves, and that there's going to be an attack about to happen, and, you know, just general paralysis, and he's, like, super above a bunch of leaves right now. Since his arm is outstretched anyway, can Tivik'ka just be ready to just kind of try and just pull him backwards onto that platform?
Okay.
Just so he hopefully doesn't just fall through the foliage.
Yeah, that would be sad, wouldn't it, after all this prep? So, go ahead and make an athletics check for that, and he does fail the con save.
Hell yeah.
So, we'll say, Tivik'ka, that'll be your thing, and then Eris, you also have a surprise opportunity action here as well to do something. But let's see how this athletics check goes
I'm
first.
gonna go based off of how things are going.
Yeah.
That's a 17 with the athletics, because this dice is so much better because I have a 0 modifier there.
Nice! Okay. Attacked. Athletics. Tivik'ka, I'll move you there. I'll move Ambrose's paralyzed body there. And then Eris, you also have a surprise action of whatever you would like before we actually start initiative here.
Yeah, you know what? Can I come her?
Okay.
And then I'll just, so he's like prone now and paralyzed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just take the halberd, like twirl it around and then stab down into his gut, kind of pinning him into the platform.
All right. So, attack rolls against him will have advantage, and any attack that hits is a critical hit if you're within 5 feet. So,
Well,
go ahead and roll.
with advantage. Well. Let's see. That's a 21.
That's a hit.
Okay.
And it's an automatic critical.
Oh yeah. You do crits the same way Joe does, right?
Yes. For the
Okay,
sake of
so
consistency, the Illica crit shall remain.
Okay, cool. All right, so that is. Let me get my D10. So that's already 16. Oh, don't drop.
Okay.
16 plus 11.
Okay. 27 points of damage there. And then you have another attack, I believe.
Oh, I do! Hey, all right.
Good thing I said
I
something.
didn't even think about it. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's 27 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a crit, right?
Yep. Automatic crit.
Okay. So 16 plus, oh my god, another 16.
Okay. So 32. Okay.
I guess I could take a bonus action. So let's see, what have I got for bonus actions here? Can I help us out? We all have advantage on him already. I'm gonna wait on my bonus action. I'll just do that.
Okay. So, with all that said then, now initiative proper will start. And I know it is already 9:22, but this is a 3-on-1 dogfight that is already halfway over, so I think we've got plenty of time. So, highlighted everybody, and then add everyone to the initiative. Everybody go ahead and give me your initiative rolls.
I got a 20.
Nice.
I got a 21.
Nice.
15.
Okay.
Oh, bud.
So, here we go. Tivik'ka with that. No. Don't stop rolling. Stop it. Let me type. She didn't roll a 1. Stop it. Okay. Alright. That's a little annoying. Okay, so 21 on Tivik'ka, 20 on Callaway, you're right. Yep. 20 for Eris, 15 for Callaway, and 14 for Ambrose, which means before he even has a chance to break paralysis, you literally all get to go again. So, sometimes it's worth having a good plan. All that being said, let's go ahead and hop into... That is not the vibe. Go away.
I was like, oh.
That's not it at all. Why is that in battle music? Joe must have had a very particular moment for that one. Alright. That's better. Yeah, this is the one with the piano that goes... Okay, so... Tivik'ka, you're up. Against a paralyzed level 19 cleric.
Well, has just pulled him in, and then immediately is going to chuck a guiding bolt into him, even though there's already advantage, so yeah.
Alright.
But that is a 23 to hit, which I'm guessing hits.
You guess right!
And also, what's the rule on crit hits? Because it's been a while. Is it like 4 damage for the first and then like...
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you give full damage and then you roll for extra.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'm just gonna roll through this because it's a lot of dice. So... Yeah, so that's a 33 plus the OG damage of... What's it again? 8 or 6. 6 is bad at math.
Okay.
Well, 8 times 6 is 48. So the first set would be so the first max damage is 48 plus the 33. That seems like a lot of damage.
I mean, yes. Let me see here. Alright, so how much does that add up to?
48 plus 33 is 81.
Wow. Okay,
That's like
Tivik'ka.
a lot of damage. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I'm sorry we rolled initiative. Tivik'ka, how do you want to do this?
Oh my god, Tivik'ka said, this is my time.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
not like bitches.
Alright. That was
I imagine it's literally
incredible.
just like pulling him back with one hand whilst like, starting to like, conjure that radiant energy in the other. And then pretty much as soon as he hits the floor, just like mesh it up with both hands and just like this molt of just a pure white radiant ball just whap right into his chest.
Alright. So, as you strike him with so much force, all of the vigor in his body immediately leaves. He sputters and groans and just kind of falls over limp. And you see the paralysis poison leaving his body, but he's unable to get up just out of pure exhaustion now as his fingers twitch as he lays there. Technically...
Wait.
Well, okay.
Okay. Since we need him to be alive, and I can heal as a bonus action.
Well, yeah, I think, could I, as a free action, remove his thing while Tivik'ka's about to
Yeah,
heal
I mean,
him?
we still have two
Decimate
more...
and then a singular.
We still have 2
hit
more
point back.
turns left of
fair.
people going before he would even get a chance anyway.
Right.
So, before he even has a chance to roll a death save, you can stabilize him, get him to essentially 0 or 1, and not allow him to roll those death saves, and get the gear off of him fairly easily.
Okay, cool.
Is there anything
Savior.
that anyone wants to do besides those things, though?
No,
Okay.
not me.
Alright then. Well, turns out this music was just for that guiding bolt.
Oh, yeah.
It was for how cool the guiding bolt was. Okay.
Sorry.
Nah, man. You know, the real hero of the day was that nat 20 nature roll from Eileen to find herbs.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's what that was.
I said fuck you to the first encounter and fuck you to this one. Sorry.
Yeah, and I felt like I had to reward that high nature roll, and well, here we are. It all
Honestly,
worked out.
the real MVP of this whole campaign.
It's true.
So,
You're all beautiful. We're a squad team.
No, we totally are a squad, but we are your grunts.
Yeah.
now we lay there. You have all the gear. Ambrose lays hardly conscious and powerless before all of you, and unable to summon it back to his grip. And he is just breathing raggedly now, and you basically have him entirely vulnerable. So, now, what would the three of you like to do?
Bind him. He's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bind him up.
Yeah, and then Eris can throw him over her shoulder as we go back, and then maybe should we use the stone to let, I'm gonna call him Clovis,
Cyril
know what's happened. Then we have to figure out how to
Before we
keep...
go down,
Yeah.
there is the matter that he mentioned that his supporters were down there. I think it's probably a good idea that we stay up here, alert Cyril, and then hopefully with their combined forces they'll be able to greet them here when it's unexpected in battle. Because if we go down there carrying his body into a mass of his supporters, I can't imagine that going well for us.
I don't know if this is how this works, but can you put the talisman pin on him and warp him to you? Or does it have to be like a willing action?
It's his action, so he wouldn't be able to.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, because they're all set to attack at midnight, probably with or without him. I'm just trying to think of a way to get them to just not.
I mean, we could try to address them themselves, but I fear that they won't exactly listen to words that are not coming out of Ambrose's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I can go down there, assess the situation, and be back up and then flash.
That might be best then. Just see what's going on, see if you can do damage control, and let us know as soon as possible. And then we can stay with the body and out of sight, out of mind for a little bit. Just let us know what we gotta do.
Well, we are meant to be having a conversation with him, so I'm sure
Right.
there won't be any questions if it takes a little long.
Right.
Okay. Tivik'ka, I guess we'll start to descend the tree.
Okay. And as you start to open that trapdoor and start to head down, your attention is drawn as to the west, the center tree, you hear the trapdoor open. And the three of you anticipate, not entirely sure who will emerge, until eventually you see somebody that none of you have ever met, but the visage of is familiar. A cloaked figure, a large sword, clerical robes, and a large religious tome bound to his arm. And he smiles, his yellowing teeth showing his obscured eyes covered by the hood. And he says, "Well, you made work of the old dog faster than I thought you would." You came for negotiations. Now let us really talk. And I will now share the image of Coadjutor Calamine. And he will appear over there on the map.
Ah. Okay, wait. Tivik'ka can see this before they go down, right?
Oh, yeah, you're here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like as you were opening the door, you heard that one open. And, presumably they would not just shrug and continue onward.
Yeah, Tivika's like, well, I had something to do.
I'm busy!
No, I already say that because I have another very potentially quick plan of fuck you, no, we don't want to deal with this.
Oh my god, I love
AK, I do have banishment.
Hell
it.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Tivika never stop.
Sorry.
So, is anyone saying anything to Calamine? Is that...
I mean, legitimately, knowing that this guy is the right-hand man, essentially, of Ambrose, and clearly had a whole ass plan worked up, Tivik'ka would be, as soon as they're able to, want to just pass banishment on him.
Okay. What do I roll for banishment?
It is a charisma saving throw. Why didn't I bring this up? Yeah, it's charisma saving throw, DC 17.
Alright, let me go ahead and check that real quick.
I'm guessing they're going to be good with, but like...
Not necessarily.
Oh, actually, no, I think it's a DC 18 because of, like, way back first session when we got, like, boosts to things and I got +1s to my spell stuff. I may have forgotten about that.
You should probably write that somewhere.
I did. I wrote it on the first page. I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, I guess that means it's a DC 18.
Okay.
Yes.
That will be a failure then.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Alright, so he emerges to talk, and you immediately banish him from this realm.
I just love how Tivika's attitude to everything is, fuck this, I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, like, nah.
Okay.
But doesn't banishment bring him back after a minute unless his home plane is a different plane of existence?
Yeah, but it means we also have time to plan whatever the shit we're doing here.
No, yeah, I just was like, we're not done here, is what I was asking.
Oh, no. I just wanted to buy us time.
Yes. Eris is gonna turn around and be like, all right, that went too easy, so this makes sense. What do we do?
I think we should alert using the sending stone first. Hopefully get some backup here. Now that everything has happened. And I think we should be ready to deal with him. Get over there at least.
All right. Then feel free to let him know. Hopefully he can get things settled down there in time before anything happens, and we can get this handled as well.
Tivik'ka has the sending stones. Yeah, quick message of just, Ambrose has been dealt with. What's his name?
Calamine.
Right-hand man guy? Calamine. Calamine, hopefully he knows who that is. Calamine might pose a threat. The rest of the masses are waiting to march on. Reinforcement would be nice.
Alright. And after a few seconds of pause, you will receive a reply from Cyril. All quiet here, in position. I will send a squad to the Elder Trees to support, otherwise we'll hold the lines. You've done well. And he will just leave it at that.
And you know what? Also, after all that has happened, Eris is going to take this free time to get over to that platform. And which way was he looking? Because she would like to be on the opposite side of which way he was looking?
Yeah, he was, and I should get rid of his token here, but he was looking towards all of you. So.
Okay. She can be like right there or diagonal. I don't know. And then as soon as he comes back, she's just gonna Well, guys, do we want to talk to him? Because she can try and grapple and hold her halberd to his throat, and then we can have a conversation. Or are we attacking? What do we want to do?
I mean, would we want to at least weaken him first before we do get to talking?
Say that again. You were kind of quiet.
Oh, do we not want to try and, weaken him before we, do the whole grapple? Because, like, even if you get him, I think having those, like, following grapple checks to keep the grapple, I think I'd be worried about him breaking out or doing something,
Sure. I mean, I'm happy to whack at him. Just wanted to see what the vibes were first, and then so basically get him low to the point where we can talk to him.
Yeah, or if anything, then fishy happens. Yeah, we can then act quicker and probably subdue him quicker than we would if he was just at full.
Okay, then she will plan to attack him, not grapple him when he gets back.
Okay.
You good with this, Callaway?
Yeah.
The minute elapses, spell banishment ends, and he doesn't show up.
Oh.
He's from a different plane of existence. Was he the Fallen? Did we just get rid of the Fallen?
No way.
Or was he Bale?
Well, that'd be funny. I would like to think that Bale would be able to succeed on a 19 banishment, though,
No, right. But I didn't know. I figured the same with the Fallen. I don't know. Eris is gonna be like, Tivik'ka, I thought he was coming back. And she's like pointing her weapon, like ready still.
Well, if he hasn't returned, that can only mean that he's not from this plane.
What a strange thing.
It's a worrying thing, I think.
Well, once we're able to get him in a more secluded space, I think he'll have a little bit more answers for us, at least regarding that. Tivik'ka, if you want to continue down with our plan, that's fine by me, and we can stay up here with them.
Well, hopefully nothing more appears in the time that I'm down there.
Feel free to stick around a moment if you would like.
Well, it has been a minute already. I feel like I don't need to tell you to keep a good look on him. Kind of like gesturing down to Ambrose.
And he'll look up to the three of you weakly and just... You must listen now to what I try to tell you, that you respond now with tricks and with violence. You're not willing to understand. I see, but you must. The fallen, it is all inevitable. It's already here. It's within. It's inside me. It's inside you. It presses the body, burns within. The ash wishes to get out.
What was he? What was your friend? Where was he from?
My coadjutor. If he has not returned, then then he must have given of himself fully. He has been claimed by one plane or another, and it is only Azrael that decides such destiny. I don't know. Perhaps you don't wish to find the fallen at all. I tried to show her to you, and you struck me down. You don't wish to find her at all.
Don't act like you haven't been doing that to all these towns. Don't act like you have been doing the same exact thing that we had just done to you. We're purifying. So shut up.
Except I suppose we purify in the name of the Empire, in the name of the true Azrael. I also suggest it's probably not a good idea to let him talk too much. But I suppose I should still make my way down. Make sure that we're clear from the ground.
Eris will give them a nod.
And yeah, they'll head on down. Have a little scout.
Okay.
Trying to keep quiet just in case there is like a whole ass mass of people down there, you know? I don't know.
So the people of Theobaldo get ready for the battle in the peninsula. 4 of you in the treetops, seeming to have achieved your goal. Some of you stay put. Tivik'ka, you start to head down. And Ambrose just sits there. He shakes, and tears start to form in his eyes as he mumbles to himself. I'm so confused. Where did it go wrong? And that is where we will have to end this session of Rising Ash.
Oh my god. I want to know more. I want to know.
You know, for people that want to know more, you have banished multiple opportunities for information.
Yeah.
What do you
So,
mean?
I'm not really, that doesn't seem to line up with the way you
Well, I wanted to know what he was saying about where did it go wrong.
I think Ambrose is just suffering here.
Right.
My guy has just been absolutely mentally fucked with.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
Well, on that dour note, thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to go ahead and be back next week to see what the fate of Theobaldo holds, to see if any conversations are to be had with Ambrose, to see if anybody knows anything about Coadjutor Calamine, and to see if Lady Melina has made any progress in locating the Fallen and keeping the attention of the Devils. With all that said, hope everybody had a good time. Certainly a lot of decisive action happened in these past 3 hours. Certainly a lot of fun for me, a lot of good conversations.
Yeah.
All right. Thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next week. And since Joe's not here, someone has to say it.